Ugh. I just hit everything and knocked it out of whack. It's always something. Okay. This is Angelia with today's wisdom. Today's wisdom comes from, excuse me, Daily Om, fresh and unfixed. There is only now. And that's true, because the past is gone and the future hasn't happened yet. You're living in now, or the present, and that's why it's called a present. But, a lot of people get stuck in the past, or just keep, hoping about the future that never comes, and then they've missed all of now. It can be easy for us to walk through the world and our lives without really being present. And like I just said, a lot of people do that. They're not in the here and now. Their brain is going somewhere else, and they're, maybe worrying about what's going to happen, or, what's happening in the future, or what's happened in the past, and they're not here and now. So they miss a lot of their life worrying and being anxious about what's not here and now. While dwelling on the past and living for the future are common pastimes, it is physically impossible to live anywhere but the present moment. Because that's true. We haven't gotten time travel yet. They're working on that, I hear. But we can't go back in the past and relive any moments. We can't go into the future and live anything. We've got here and now, and that's it. That's where you need to be. We cannot step out our front door and take a left turn to May of last year any more than we can take a right turn to December 2010. Nevertheless, we can easily miss the future we are hoping and waiting for, as it becomes the now we are too busy to pay attention to. And that's right. That's something I learned, studying Zen years ago, is you need to be present. My life got better. My kids got happier. When you're here and now. You're in the present. You're paying attention to what's going on around you. That's an important thing. So you need to be present for yourself and others in the here and now. When we spend the rest of our time playing catch up to the moment that we just let pass by, you can't really do that. I'm busy. I'm helping an elderly member of my family every other day, and so I'm behind on stuff now. And I try to play catch up with what's going on in my life, but you can't really do that. You can just make headway and do the best you can. And any moments that have slipped past, you can't get them back. During moments like these, it is important to remember that there is only now. That's all you got, here and now. In order to feel more at home in the present moment, it is important to try to stay aware. And that's a lot of people are not aware of what's going on around them, not aware of their surroundings. They're in their head, and they're not paying attention to what's going on. That's why we have car accidents. That's why we have people do, dumb things that causes them, harm and others. And people who, just aren't present for other people because they're living out in the mental imaginary world and, aren't present for people here and now. You have to be open. You have to be open to the present moment. If you're living like this, then you're closed. You don't let anybody in. You're not enjoying your life. And receptive. Willing to accept. Lord, grant me this. And let other people, be for you and do for you. And there are so many people who are taught, that you are to do for others and for yourself last. Well, then you have an empty cup and you can't pour from an empty cup. So you have to be receptive to allow others to be there for you, help you, interact with you, without it becoming you blocking all the time. Being in the present moment requires our full attention so that we are fully present and fully awake to experience it. And I have not been present 24/7 since the day I was born. Nobody has. But sometimes if I've caught myself, like I'm worried about something or, thinking about something, and I catch myself not being present, I'll stop and take a deep breath and come to the here and now, because I know that doesn't matter. Can't go back. In the future, is that going to matter? In a year, 5 years? No. So, when we are fully present, our minds do not wander. And, that's a big thing for people. I recommend you study Zen Buddhism. I think Buddhists have great mental tenets that will help you be present in your own mind. I know some people who are religious have problems with other religions. I personally don't, because I see that there are benefits. There are good things, about this. You don't have to believe their religion. You don't have to practice their religion. But, you might get something out of the teaching. And that's why I teach wisdoms, because I feel like there are teachings around the world that have benefits for mankind. I feel like Christianity is the spiritual height. I feel like as far as mental health, Buddhism is the spiritual height. As far as devotion, you're not going to find anybody more devoted than Muslims who are getting down on their prayer rugs. I think it's 6 times a day. Is any of us doing that? Pretty much not. And then the yogis from India had this whole health system, and they were, vibrant and healthy and lived to be really old. So there's something there. Don't discount other folks' belief system just because it's not yours and you think it's wrong, or whatever. Because you don't have to practice someone else's religion to see the benefits that it's giving them. It's like I say about leading people to Jesus, using a stick ain't going to cut it. That's going to drive them away. But if you use a little honey, you might get them to come in and have a look. And that's important, I think, is to have a look at people who are different from you. The other, as, some people want to make it all about the other. That's just divisive. That is knocking us apart. And I believe God gave everyone a piece of the puzzle. And he'd probably like us, according to Jesus, we're supposed to be good to the neighbors and the foreigner in our country and everything, and to lead them to him. So like I said, you're not going to do that if you're whacking them over the head with a stick. But if you present it to them as something good, and good for them, they might be interested in having a look. So I'm going to get off that soapbox, We are focused on what is going on right now, rather than thinking about what just happened or worrying about what is going to happen next. And that's something I've given up. I've given up worrying about what's going to happen next. Like, whatever happens next, I'm going to deal with it. I'm not in control of anything except for the things I am in control of. And I've learned to let other people just go. Because if they want to walk away, okay, go ahead. I'm going to explain my side of things. I'm going to speak my piece. But if you still just want to go, go. Because if you were, a problem to where we had a problem anyway, my life is better off without you in it. Just saying. It's going to be happier without aggravation in it. We are focused in being present. It lets us experience each moment in our lives in a way that cannot be fully lived through memory or fantasy. Because when you're present, and that's why a lot of people have, either bad memories or good memories, to one side. Brains are wired differently. You remember all the bad stuff because it impacted you and you were very present in that moment. And you remember all the good stuff because it impacted you and you were very present in that moment. And it's usually the day-to-day mundane stuff that we don't remember. It's the bad things and the good things. When we begin to corral our attention into the present moment, it can be almost overwhelming to be here. And that's, I've heard a lot of people talk about the monkey mind. And here they're saying carouse because it could be the wild horse mind. It's running any which way, and not where it needs to be, which is right here and now. There is a state of stillness that has to happen that can take some getting used to. And the mind chatter that is so often gets us into our heads and out of the present moment doesn't have as much to do. And like I said, that's why I remember recommend studying Zen, because it teaches you to be here and now. Meditation, teaches you to be here and now. And that lessens your mind of dwelling and living in the past or worried about what's happening in the future. We may feel a lack of control because we aren't busy planning our next move, and some people are always busy planning their next move. People who are narcissistic sociopaths and manipulators, that's all they're worried about is the next move. And that's a shame, because then they spend their life wasting their time worrying about their next move and what they're going to do, and they miss everything in the here and now. Assessing our current situation, and let's face it, your situation is what it is. Worrying about it, being anxious about it is not going to, fix it. It's not going to make a difference at all. So you need to just be present so you can deal with your situation as it is. The old song, que sera, sera, whatever will be, that's the fact. So, you're better off, praying about it and asking for help than you are worrying about it and, wondering what's coming next. Or anticipating the future. Because again, no one can change the future. Technically, you change the future every time you do anything, but I believe there's a predestined spot you're going to end up in one way or another. I believe there's probably a hard way, moderate way, and the easy way. And your job is to figure out what is the easy way, and that's by, being obedient to God, of course. Instead, being present requires that we be flexible. Again, not everything's going to be how you want it to be. And any of you who've raised children know that's the case. You might have this plan. Well, okay, then they suddenly come up and say, oh, by the way. So you have to be flexible, because life is not going to roll itself out perfectly for you. If you have any illusions to that effect, sorry. Creative. Again, you have to be a creative thinker. You want this result, but you can't do it this way. How is another way to do it? How is another way to reach that goal? So, that's something I taught, my students and my clients is, there's more than one way to get to point A, there's more than one way, as the old saying goes, to skin a cat, but good gosh, I hope nobody's doing that. That's disgusting and evil. So, attentive. You have to be paying attention if you're going to get something, done. And spontaneous. Again, like I say, sometimes opportunities come, and you have to be spontaneous. I had a message a while back for someone I guess it was probably a week or so ago, asked if I did commissions. Well, I used to do commissions. And maybe someday in the future I'll do commissions. But right now, I don't have the time to create on demand and in a time frame. Because, like I said, I'm taking care of someone. And they take up, several days of my week. So I can't, offer time to someone that I know I'm not going to probably have. So, I guess I disappointed them. I don't know, since they asked if I did commissions. But, like I said, in the past I have, in the future I might do it again. But as of right now, I can't do it because I can't promise anything on a timely manner. So, I'm not doing it. Each present moment is completely new. Again, each one's new. And nothing like it has happened or ever will happen again. What I said 5 seconds ago is already in the past. See? So what we're doing is right here and now. You're listening to me right here and now in this second. But what I said 2 seconds ago is already gone. See? As you move through your day, remember to stay present in each moment. Be there for yourself. Be there for others, because that is going to enrich your life. Don't think 5 minutes ahead. Don't think 10 minutes ahead. That's, my husband's still got that habit, and he'll say, what about it? And I'll say, I'll worry about that when the time comes. I don't need to worry about that right now. Because, people have anxiety. They're worrying about what's happening tomorrow, next week, next month. I don't have to worry about that because it's not here yet. When the time comes, then I'll worry about that. In doing so, you will live your life without having to wait for the future or yearn for the past. Because you'll be enjoying your life because you'll be right here, right now. Life happens to us when we happen to life in the now. And that's true. If you're open to what's happening right now, then you can have a happy, good now. Whereas, if you're dwelling in the past, you're missing now. If you're dreaming about the future, you're missing now. And, that's just not being present for yourself or others. So, if you want to become fresh and unfixed, you need to remember that there is only now. Think about it. Please like and share this wisdom so we can spread it around the world. If you want to help me out, subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you want to help me out even more, go to my Patreon page and become a patron. That link is in the posts. Thanks for watching. That's all for now. Until next time.